What could be so powerful about a few crates of tea? In December 1773, a group of angry colonists turned a shipment of tea into one of the most famous acts of defiance in history. The Boston Tea Party. This bold protest didn't just dump tea into the harbor, it helped ignite a revolution that would change the world. Today, we'll uncover how a simple act of rebellion became a symbol of American resistance. By the 1770s, 13 British colonies stretched along the eastern coast of North America. Life was not easy. Colonists had to follow laws and taxes imposed by a distant government across the Atlantic. One of the most hated taxes was on everyday items like tea. The British government argued it was necessary to pay off debts from the French and Indian War. But many colonists cried, "No taxation without representation." They demanded a voice in government and refused to pay taxes on items like tea, paper, and glass. In 1773, the British Parliament passed the Tea Act. It allowed the British East India Company to sell tea directly to the colonies, undercutting local merchants, but still taxed the tea. Colonists saw this as a trick. Not only were they forced to pay a tax they had no say in, but it also threatened their businesses. Tensions were rising. Something had to give. On the night of December 16, 1773, a group of Boston colonists organized a daring plan. Disguised as Native Americans to hide their identities, they boarded 3 British ships in Boston Harbor. Armed with axes and determination, they began throwing 340 chests of tea into the water. The Boston Tea Party was not just about tea, it was a message. The colonies would no longer accept unfair treatment from Britain. The British government was furious. In response, they passed the Course of Acts, known in the colonies as the Intolerable Acts, punishing Massachusetts and asserting control over the colonies. Instead of scaring the colonists into submission, it united them in resistance. Leaders across the 13 colonies began organizing, sending letters, and preparing for a conflict that would soon become the American Revolution. The Boston Tea Party was more than a protest, it was a turning point in history. It demonstrated that ordinary people could challenge an empire. It inspired acts of defiance across the colonies and became a symbol of freedom, resistance, and the fight for self-governance. Today, the event is remembered as a bold act of courage that helped shape the United States. A few crates of tea, thrown into a harbor, sparked a revolution. The Boston Tea Party reminds us that even small acts of resistance can change the course of history. It was a night that turned frustration into action and helped pave the way for American independence. And that's the story of the Boston Tea Party. Here on Past and Present Tales, we explore the moments, people, and ideas that shaped history, culture, and society. So here's a question for you. If you lived in colonial America, would you have joined the Boston Tea Party or stayed on the sidelines? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for our next journey into the past.